IRCC Consultations on the Future of Express Entry, Artificial Intelligence and IRCC Decision-Making, and the Impact of Reconsiderations and Judicial Review on this edition of ImmPulse.
I'm Howard Greenberg.
Hi, I'm Nouman Hameed.
Nouman, a particular interest today is the consultation process started by IRCC.
Right.
They know that there's an issue of selecting the right individuals, and they know that they have to revisit the criteria. And why this is important is that our viewers, whether they're in Canada or outside Canada, want to get an appreciation. What are my chances for success?
Right.
And so, I'm looking at the statistics that were published in the report on consultation, and 63.5% of all express entry ITAs, all invitations in 2023, and 73% of the invitations in 2024 were category-based selection.
Right.
Categories: healthcare, trades, STEM, transport, agriculture, and French language proficiency. So those were the flavors of the week for those 2 years. And then in 2025, it's healthcare, trades, and now education has joined the categories, as agricultural, STEM, and again, French language proficiency. So if you're in those areas, you're being preferred no matter what the point totals are. The point totals in those areas are the ones that count.
And so we know that under this new approach, IRCC is reaching out to stakeholders, taking feedback up until September, and they're going to re-examine, number one, did they get the right labor market priority industries?
Right.
That could even mean in a category, do they have the right jobs? There could be a mix of different jobs, for example, in tech. We've seen the movement of different categories and occupations. We also know that they're going to continue with Francophones, but they've opened the door to a real troublesome area where executives and senior managers have not been getting sufficient points after IRCC withdrew the 200 points for arranged employment. And we've articulated this with officials too, that we see great talent in Canada who simply can't get an invitation for PR.
Because when they adjust the criteria to come to Canada, they go too far in one direction or another. They took away the arranged employment points and therefore disabled senior executives from being able to qualify for immigration without getting that bonus. And now they're revisiting those occupations, saying, look, those people should be selected because they bring a lot of maturity, a lot of business experience, a lot of expertise, and they just can't make it under the current system.
So this is a good process. This is promising because IRCC wants to get it right. They want to learn more before they develop their policy. And I think it ties in nicely with an article we promoted where across Canada, the provincial governments are arguing that they should have more autonomy because they feel like the current policy didn't have a lot of research behind it. So it's time to make sure that Canada picks the right occupations and there is a basis for how the system works.
So what are the lessons to be learned if you're an intended immigrant? What are the priorities that you want to understand in terms of who's going to be selected? We know that these specific channels of, what would we call them? They're occupation-based.
Category-driven.
Category-driven. So we know, for example, that education, we know as well that healthcare is big. We know that Francophone qualifications are a high priority. So if you're making application and you fall within or can fall within those categories, you're going to the front of the line.
And go one step more detailed. Is your particular occupation captured under that category? Because they constantly look at subcategories and make changes. So information is key. You have to stay on top of these changes that are coming out quite quickly.
You don't want to simply make application in this system with so many of these applications that are being accepted, part of these special categories.
Right.
And the balance of them just not being accepted.
Yes.
No invitations.
Right. Okay. So along the theme of change with IRCC, that's a good change. A processing change or an article we saw that's quite interesting, although in the context of asylum claims, was the concern or the observation that IRCC was using AI and technology and saw patterns of cases that appeared to be virtually the same and were filed representing a certain pattern of fact where it appeared like it was fraud. So IRCC seems to be taking a much more aggressive use of technology to try to help in aiding determinations.
Well, I think that there are larger takeaways from that observation, and that is that all applications are going to be able to be reviewed for their content and for the veracity of the comments made. You talk about it in asylum. It won't be too long off before you can go through criteria for intercompany transfer, specialized knowledge. Look for patterns of high use of the category by employers, and are they saying the same thing over and over again? And are their qualifications really specialized? There's many. Once you get the AI down in terms of how it can be applied to an application, with the reduction in the number of workers and the budget constraints at IRCC, the use of AI is going to be critical to running the program.
Right. And, I've seen it with business plans where we've dealt with different SUV applicants or business immigration applicants, and we see very similar business plans that seem to be circulating. And I think for representatives, those individuals that are using tools, whether it's ChatGPT, you have to make sure you have an individualized assessment because IRCC is accumulating information looking for patterns.
Right.
So higher standard for everyone now in the new system.
Well, that's it for this week.
Thank you.
If you need any information, you have any questions, you simply want to talk about what the future is for immigration, please reach out. We're more than happy to talk to you.
Okay. And don't crinkle that one page. Okay?
How can you crinkle just
No
one page?
crinkling. No, you're a crinkler.
I come from a family of crinklers.
Yes.
In my mind, that's the most important thing. Okay, let's do it again. What happened?
So people started clapping. I guess it was a good point, eh?
Yes.
Hameed?
Leave that in.
Yeah.
He's got an audience. That's it.